Hi everyone, this is Becky from Becky's Baskets, back with another tip for helping you make great pine needle baskets. Today I'm going to show you how to create windows in your coiling. If you have my Advanced Beginner, Pendant, or either of my barrette kits, this tutorial will apply to all of them. Windows can be used in many ways. To create handles, as in this little basket, to shape a piece, as with this barrette, or as a decorative element, a way to weave coils in and out, like in this basket. Whatever you're thinking of doing, the window is created in basically the same way. Here's a little basket, and I've been planning to make some handles. So what I have done is when I reach the point I want the handle to start, I stitch twice in the same spot to secure the coil very tightly, and then I just start wrapping. If you're not sure how to wrap a coil, check out my recent video, Wrap Stitch, for which I've placed a link below. Now I do that double stitch at the beginning because there's going to be some pressure on this and I want it to be extra secure. Then once I have wrapped very tightly about an inch of the coil, I am going to insert a piece of floral wire. I like to use 18 or 20 gauge floral wire, and I carefully insert it into the center of the coil and slide it back to about the beginning of the wrap section. Definitely don't want it to stick out beyond the wrap section. Then I close the coil back over top of it so it's not visible and continue wrapping for as long as I want my window opening to be. It's important to wrap tightly so that the wire cannot stick out and is secured inside the coil. And I also need to continue adding pine needles as I wrap so that my coil size will stay consistent. And then I just continue wrapping until I have the length that I want. Here's a barrette that I've been working on, and I have wrapped it now as long as I want. I joined it twice, or stitched twice on the join before the breakaway point. Then I've wrapped the length that I want, and now I'm going to bend it. This is what that wire allows, and shape it very nicely to where I want it to reattach. When you reattach, you're basically choosing a stitch that you want to reattach to, whatever looks best to you. Now first though, you can see a little bit of my wire sticking out here because I clipped it off, but it isn't completely covered with the wrap stitch once I do the bend. So I need to wrap a little bit more until that wire end is completely covered. All right, then I've decided I'd like to reattach at this stitch. So what I'm going to do is stitch twice around that stitch in the way I normally would, so that there's a double stitch both at the breakaway point and at the reattachment point to make it extra secure. And since I've been using this vining wheat stitch and I want to continue that, I make sure that I can use that type of stitch for the join. If you'd like to make a vining wheat stitch but you're not sure how, check out my wheat stitch video, which is linked below. Then I can just continue stitching as normally, or I can start a new window if I'd like. Now you might be wondering, can I make a window without the wire in it? Yes, you certainly can. In this little piece, this pendant, I just needed a small window for the cord to go in. So I didn't bother with a wire. It doesn't need that much extra armature. There won't be much pressure on it. And I just wrapped and bent it. Notice that I was using the tie stitch, so I reattached with a tie stitch at each end. I don't like to use no wire for a big handle though, because it's going to have a little bit more tension on it. So a larger handle, I usually always put a wire. Now you also might be wondering, can I make a window without a wrap stitch? Yes, you can, but the problem with that is that the wire has a tendency to poke out. It has a way of working its way out. So the wrap stitch is ideal because it holds the coil together and keeps the wire from working its way out. I hope this short video makes it easy for you to create windows in your next piece that add to your coiling basket or whatever it is you're making. Please like and subscribe below so that you won't miss my next tip for creating beautiful pine needle baskets. If you're a beginner and you need help getting started with coiling, check out my Etsy shop and all of my beginner kits, which come with detailed color instructions and all the supplies you need to get started. Links to my website and Etsy shop are in the description below. Thanks for watching and happy coiling!